you are able to listen to me.
Yes.
Under the presumption that all of you are able to listen to me, I'll start. See, there are two things. The defined topic for the day is guidance for adolescents in career goals. There are two things here. One is adolescents. Adolescence is, as you all know, is the period between age 13 and 19. And it might vary. It might vary. And that is the period when boys and girls, as all of us have experienced, go through the hormonal changes. And because of that, they lose control over what they are doing. And some of them are able to overcome all that, and they do an exemplary job. So this is what adolescence means to me. The other aspect is career goal. Career goal could be, life goal could be your career. It could be your larger life goal. Career is about your education and the job that you end up with as a source of or means of livelihood. But life goal is slightly different, as I understand. Because life goals, for me, my life goal, the beginning of my career was to be recognized as a teacher, to have contributed to the student community in molding their careers, molding their characters. So the two are slightly different. Considering that both of them are one and the same, we'll begin now. Adolescents are to be handled with a lot of care. They're very fragile, like you handle glass items. These people will have to be handled with a great deal of care. I don't suggest that they should be handled with kid gloves. That would mean yielding to them a large space. Handling them with a lot of care would be the right way out. I have a parallel between uh, uh, adolescence and pet subject of mine, chemistry. I compared, I said adolescence is a fragile period, and those boys and girls will have to be handled the very way we handle glass items. And this very glass, when it is being made, there's a lot of care that is given. The glass is made up of silicates. I don't know how many of you are from a science background, but what I'm trying to tell you is doesn't need much of science, right? Glass is composed of many silicates. All the silicates are naturally available. All of them are put into a furnace and they are heated up till they melt. And once they are in a fluid state, several filtering processes are done. And finally, a transparent liquid emerges. This transparent liquid will have to be cooled to make it into a glass. While cooling, care has to be taken. Glass melts between 600 degrees centigrade to 800 degrees centigrade. We are speaking on this way. While cooling, the reverse is applicable. Between 800 degrees to 600 degrees, it freezes. So the operating temperature now is 1300. From 1300, you have to bring down the temperature to 600 and thereafter to room temperature. But then while you are cooling it between 800 to 600, a lot of care is to be taken about the pace of cooling. If there is a slight alteration in the pace of cooling, the glass doesn't settle to be what we have seen. We have seen tabletop glasses, very fine glasses. We have seen facades of several buildings decorated with glasses. Those fine glasses are very craftily processed and made. And the comparison now between these adolescents and the glass is the right childhood freeness, fluidity, As their children below the age of 13 or 12 or 11, they are very fluid. From the fluidity of childhood to the definiteness or the solidity of adulthood, this transformation period is what we are now talking about. And this transformation is what I refer to now as I spoke about the processing of glass making. And the other aspect is you're very fragile. One rough handling is going to break it up. And too smooth a handling also wouldn't help the cause. So a lot of care will have to go in. And there are a few aspects here. One is micro observation. Micro observation is about tracing the activities of your ward or whoever it is from a very, very close angle. Like what they prefer to do, what their inclination is all about. Because each of us are made out to be something. Each of us have an innate leaning towards a particular, I wouldn't call it profession, a particular field of life. What that is revealed as children grow up. As parents or as guardians or caretakers, if you make a careful observation, micro observation of the children activity, you will be able to pick up what they are made out for. That is the first clue you will get about what they should be put through, like which course they need to take up, what is the ideal thing for them to pursue in their higher levels. Once you are done with the micro observation and you have made a conclusion, for you to make this micro observation, you need to spend a lot of quality time with those words. Spending quality time is key to these micro observations. See, fragile things will have to be taken care of uh, in a way which befits their well-being. So once you are through with your micro observation and about the inclination of your ward, your task number one is complete. The next task would be to make available to the ward all available information about the field that the child you think should be taking up. All possible. Starting from what all the courses that he can pursue, he or she can, and two, where all it is available, and what are the prospects when you follow that course, and finally, what you will end up with. Like this is voluminous information, and it cannot be given in a day or two. It should be spread across, let us say, a year or two. Bits and pieces. You need to be uh, pouring this information to their heads. Don't bother whether they're listening to you or not. Just put it out. And one day they will come out with a decision. And mind you, the decision about their career selection will have to come out from their mouth. Once they make the decision, they have a commitment towards it. Otherwise, you run the risk. Most of the, my 4 decades of, I was trying to correct Madam Neelima once here. I have put in 4 decades of effort, I should say, in the field of academics. And I've been a micro observer when it comes to even large number of students. To the extent I could, I have made micro observations. And the most important pain I've gone through is children tend to take up courses dictated by the parents. And later in their lives, they blame the parents for the minutest of failures that they encounter in their careers. So if this should not happen, you make sure that they make the right choice, and you make sure that the decision comes from their own mouth. Having given all the inputs, you should empower them to make the decision. And once the decision is made, it is their decision. They are bound to pursue it. They are bound to own it. So this is one way of ensuring the success of the children. And I've got an interesting, I've got numerable case studies, when I should call it. One such was, see, before I come to this case study, I'll have to elaborate on the fragility of the adolescent period. As children, they tend to do what you suggest them to do. But as they get into the teens, 13, 14, 15, there's a tendency amongst those people, slowly that gets steeled up. They don't tend to get a feeling that they are right. And more dangerously, I'm the only person right. Everybody else is wrong. This kind of a feeling prevails in their minds. Again, this is not something that they need to be blamed for. It is the hormonal rush that makes them feel so. That situation will have to be handled with care. You need to ignore some of their tantrums, and you need to wait for your turn to give it back to them as a corrective measure, not to reprimand them. It's only a corrective measure. And the teens have this kind of a feeling. They have a strong inclination. They express a strong inclination towards medicine today. And 15 days later, their decision is very, very equally strongly for engineering. And another fortnight later, they would be saying, I'll do yoga, a course in yoga. So these are strangely fluctuating periods. Those things will have to be ignored because they are uninformed decisions. Decisions that are not based on information and input. Right? Once you're given the input and they make the decision, they will live with it. And now, this case study. There's one boy with us long ago. As he entered the portals of our college, I have this habit. Into the first class. This is the only class where I have not had the occasion to introduce myself to each of them or getting each of them to introduce themselves to me. Of course, on an online situation, that may not be a possibility. As I entered the first class of their first PU class, I would make each one of them to say their name and what they intend doing. Me being a science teacher, I used to handle only science classes. So I used to ask them, you've opted for science, and what is that you intend doing? Some would say, I would want to become an MD, I would want to become an engineer, I would want to emulate the Saram Vishweswaraya. All those things used to come out. This particular boy whom I'm referring to, he said, I'm going to take up mechanical engineering. So I thought he has some extra information or deep input about the decision he has made. I asked him what his parents were, because a parental background mostly influences the children to make a decision. He said, my father is an auto driver and mother is a homemaker. He said, I asked him, what is the basis of your career goal? You said you want to become a mechanical engineer. You didn't stop at just saying, I want to be an engineer. The boy said, no, sir, mechanical engineers are in great demand. Look, they make the decision on the basis of frivolous considerations. It's like, I don't know how many of you here are in Bangalore. There's one particular area in Bangalore where are a plethora of cinema halls. The area is called Majestic in Bangalore. There are at least 15 cinema halls. You want to watch a movie, you've gone there. You don't know which movie, you're not made a selection of which movie you're going to watch. No, and taking a look at which cinema hall has a large number of people in front of it, you get a feeling that this must be a very popular and a very good movie. You make a selection. How logical is this? See, these students make a selection of a particular course because that is in demand. The same guy, towards the middle of first year PU, It was at the beginning of the first PU that he had said he wanted to become mechanical engineer. Towards the middle of first year, I used to make a regular, conversation with him. In one of those conversations, he said, "No, sir, I think I should give it up. I want to become a computer science engineer." Why this change in your pursuit? The boy said, "No, sir, my neighbor has become a computer science engineer, and in no time he has got a car and a bungalow." If these are going to be the basis on which you're going to make a selection of your career goal, I'll tell you they are going to be false goals. It should be based on your abilities. It should be based on your aptitude. It should be based on strong information, how sustainable the field is going to be, right? And more is to come from this guy. Into the second year, he said, "I'm going to become a surgeon." I told him, I asked him, "Is there a neighbor of yours who was part of Ben's car?" "No, sir. One of my distant cousin, she has come back from US. She says she's doing very fine there. She's a surgeon." I didn't speak much. Later, towards the penultimate stages of a second PU course, I had a long session, very long session with him, and later summoned his parents. I asked them what information they have given to him. They did not, because they were literate or semi-literates. Then I took it upon myself, the job of mentoring this boy, and said, "These are very frivolous grounds on which you make the decision. You need to take into account what your inner heart craves for, what your original abilities are about, natural abilities are about." And finally, that boy today is a leading chartered accountant. He made a cross-country race from science to accounts. Is a leading chartered accountant right here in my neighborhood in Jayanagar in Bangalore. That is about how fickle they are when it comes to career goals. And another aspect about the adolescent guys and girls is that uh, they tend to make decisions based on pressure. All the while, the mother keeps cribbing, "Look, your cousin is a doctor, and what are you?" When this cribbing goes to such an extent that this boy or the girl, "Yes, let me prove, make a challenge. Yes, I'll become a surgeon." These kind of challenges are like trying to overtake, speeding a car on a highway. It's a futile thing. You can't succeed, and there's no point in succeeding. What is the reward for succeeding? Absolutely nothing. It's not pursuing such kind of goals. So, what I intend telling you is micro observation, information input, and empowering them to make a decision. Three basic things that one needs to be doing, either as a parent or as a guardian or as a counselor. A professional counselor can do these things far more better than parents. Parents are more overcome by their passion toward the children, and they are under pressure also. Somebody who's, let us say, the head of the department of a particular department has his subordinate son, become a doctor. He'll start, saying such things about the subordinate son in front of his own children. These kind of peer pressure. I mean, this is something that the counselors are beyond. They can rise beyond these points, and they can make a particular clear point about what the world wishes to do and what the world should be doing for its own good and for the good of the subject and the good of the society tomorrow. There are these larger equations that need to be taken into account before a decision is made about career goals or life goals. I think I should give a pause here and hand it back to Neelima. I'm open for any questions.
Sure, sir. Sure. Thank you. Any questions that you would like to ask, please raise your question, hands or put it up in the chat box. Himali, yes, you can. You can.
Hello, sir. It's nice to see you. We just met in the PhD holding ceremony
I
last month.
remember in your
Uh,
face.
so
Yeah.
my so my question is, so according to the NEP 2020, that is the National Education Policy, now the kids who will be coming in 11th and 12th, at that
Mm,
particular time they are supposed to select the field. Like
mm,
so now as the system has changed, these kids are given an option, like if they are taking up science, they are given an option to choose accounts also as a second subject. They are
mm.
allowed to choose psychology also as a third subject. So since we didn't had that when we were studying, right? So now as they have this privilege, my question was, what would be the correct age? As you said, we could give some kind of information over the years according to their um, energy or whichever field. What would be the age where we could try to talk to them about different fields?
I'll split your question into two.
Hmm.
First, about NEP, the flexibility with regard to NEP. I have worked in a subcommittee towards NEP. Dr. M.K. Sridhar, who hails from Bangalore, was previously the chairman of the Central Knowledge Commission, happens to be a neighbor of me apart from being a mentor. He had drafted me into one of those subcommittees and a first-hand information as to how and why this kind of flexibility was introduced. See, there have been many doctors who are very, very weak in mathematics. These doctors are very clever now. uh, and the need for multidisciplinary knowledge, though I'm pursuing science, little knowledge of accounts is essential. Like, I taught chemistry in my college, and when it was my turn to head the institution, I was only a part teacher, and to a larger extent, I was an administrator taking care of accounts. I was all at sea, not knowing what to do. I had to depend on my office. But then I had just started my preparations about 3-4 years prior to my ascendancy into the chair. So I was well equipped. But I felt I had left out something during my study days. This aspect, this flexibility in NEP is because there has been a necessity felt for a medicine person, working in the medicinal field, should have a little of accounts knowledge, should have a little of psychology. All these are combined. Psychology is an added advantage for all fields of education. That is my person. And the next question is, it depends. You see, as I said, adolescence itself cannot be very, very compartmentalized. Like, though the WHO says it is 13 or 19, it depends on the person's growth. Generally, between 14, by the time they are 14, 13, 14, you can pour in information. Like when you add water, when you water a plant, how do you do it? Bucket full at once? No. Add, we pour water. Is it able to absorb? Fine. If it is absorbing, add more. So it has to be phased out. It has to be like, it is again a very sensitive exercise wherein you need to be observing the child, the ward or the counselor, I wouldn't call it a patient, client, let us say. Observing their outlook, we need to be delivering. Ideally, it would be 13, 14. It might differ by 1 year or 2 years later. Are you happy with the answer?
Yes, sir. I wish I could do, because I studied I have a graduation from microbiology. I studied all the possible lab technician thing in Tata Hospital Cancer Research.
Hmm.
And then I Then I came up to art, and then I have always loved teaching right since I was a kid. So my subject of teaching changed, and now I'm doing PhD. So I think it was a big up and down, and that's the reason I really wanted to know if I could get, So it is a very interesting topic, sir. Yes, I'm so happy with the answer.
Yes. Shall we go for the next question,
Yes.
Nilima?
Yes, sir.
So I wanted to ask a question. Yes, this is a little out of the way, sir.
Okay.
Like my son, he's a chartered accountant today. He's 25 years old. But
Hmm.
then when he passed his 10th, he said, I will not take up science because I cannot do physics. Okay, I said, then you can take up commerce. He took up commerce and he worked hard. And after becoming a chartered accountant, he was really fed up with it, honestly speaking. And anyway, he's working in Bangalore as a chartered accountant. And but the thing is that he did tell me that he likes criminology. Somewhere down the line, I don't know, he said that he likes criminology. And as a mother, I felt if that was his passion, we did not know it earlier. So is there any way he can learn some sort of a course? I don't know whether he should learn or whatever it is, and switch over.
Madam, one thing. This is where the micro observation part. Were you
Hello.
are you a working professional?
Yeah, I'm a working
Am I
mother.
audible,
I'm a
madam?
working mother.
Yeah, there was
Hello.
a lag in between, sir.
This is
Now it's fine.
okay. Fine. Thing is, this is one thing. One small difficulty with all working mothers and working fathers. Due to their work pressure, they are not able to devote much of quality time with their children. Okay, I mean that could be the reason why he has made a choice, wrong choice. I wouldn't say. Now also you can pursue a LLB course. There are integrated LLB courses available in all platforms, and that should. And in fact, chartered accountancy with law should be a deadly combination for a very good career. He can still now take up a course in law. As you say, is just 25. 25 is too small a number. Another 5 years of hard work should see him combine his expertise in accountancy and law to the best possible extent.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Any other questions, please?
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Yeah. My son now is in 12th grade, actually.
Uh-huh.
I want to ask only one question. He's scoring good marks at computer science, but he prefers to be a mechanical engineer or a civil engineer. He's attracted to that. Because her grandfather is a mechanical engineer. So he is having a mindset like that, but he doesn't like physics or chemistry, not too the much, but he is scoring very high grade in computer science. So what he should prefer, whether according to the marks or
I think I need to come to this question after a little of a background. Children tend to express this feeling that I don't like physics, I don't like biology, I don't like dash, dash, dash. It's a myth, I'll tell you. It is a myth. It's a mental block, just a mental block. That science is difficult and accountancy is easy is a joke, I'll tell you. Because having done my course in science, four master's degree in science, I never felt it was difficult. One thing is, I loved the subject. And during those days, we were made to feel that unless you excel in your education, you are not going to lead a decent life. And I should confess that I took up a course which was available to me. Look, I'm saying so many things. This is how you should make a career selection. But during those days, 4 decades ago, more than 4 decades ago, it was not my first choice to take up chemistry. I got a seat in chemistry, and everybody, including my teachers, they said, for a good life, take up a subject. Otherwise, my first love was mathematics. I had not got a seat in mathematics, but I had got a seat in chemistry PG course. I took it up, and I realized that once you start loving the subject, things become simple. I wouldn't use the word easy. Things become simple. I don't like physics. Physics is very difficult, is a myth. Once you start liking it, see, I posed for myself one simple question at the entrance, at this beginning of my course in chemistry. I'm not the first person to study chemistry. There are millions and millions of they have done their MS, PG in chemistry. They have done doctoral courses. Millions of people are pursuing chemistry. Are they fools to be studying that subject, which is dumb? So there must be something in that subject if it is attracting millions of people. Let me try to find out what is in it. So that took me to the deeper roots of chemistry. Today, I will tell you, I love chemistry. I take pride in saying that I'm a student of chemistry on today. So that particular thing is difficult. This is easy. They are jokes. I'll tell you. One, you realize the inevitability of studying. Start loving the subject. Your child, you said, is in 12th, right?
No, 12th, sir.
12th grade. When your child was 1 year old, was he going, to your neighbor's place on his own? Was he moving around freely with the strangers when he was 1 year
No.
old?
No.
That is it. These subjects are like children, small kids. You have to give them a lot of care. You have to love them. You need to make them feel that you are very safe with me. Only then they tend to come to us. So once you exercise that minimum, this thing towards a particular subject, that subject is going to be yours. I'm speaking from my experience. This is no theory. This is my experience. Chemistry was not among any of my first choices. I took it up. Today, I'll tell you, I've come a very long way, and I get a feeling that I should have started loving it much earlier. So, going by his scoring level is not the wisest thing. Take a decision. You still have a lot of time. You have time till, let us say, at least June next year. At least you've got 1 year left. Things could change. These guys, they are notorious for changing their choices. Every fortnight, they change their choice. So give them input. Give them all the inputs. And finally, he will come out with a decision. And I'm very confident that he's going to come out with a justifiable decision. I suppose I've answered you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. I got a clear idea. Decided he has to decide it, right?
Okay.
Thank you.
And next, Nilima.
Sir, in addition to what Sheila Nair and Shubha Devi had asked, I would like to request you to throw some light on the students, the children who have interest in multiple areas. Like, say, for example, they are good at science, they are good at other cultural activities, and they would like to see themselves in a very different position. So what do you have to tell about this, and how do you think that, the child can come to a conclusion about his own things where he's confused about his choices?
It's very natural that at their stage of life, they are in a dilemma, they are confused. Fine. But we, as parents and teachers and counselors, we need to be giving them a sense of direction. And if they have varied interest, simultaneously they have interest in two different fields. I'll tell you, today, children have the capacity to excel in more than one field simultaneously. I'll give you one simple example of Manasi Prasad. I suppose all of you have heard of her. Have you? She graduated from IIM Bangalore. She was incidentally a disciple of R.K. Padmanabha. She was offered a job of about, this is what, 9-10 years back. She was offered a job in UK for 1.8 crore per annum. That was a massive number those days. She said, I shall be here, I shall pursue both. She took up a local job for 80 lakhs. And she's conducting concerts, and she's a very successful professional as an MBA graduate. And from my own stock of my students, there have been many engineering students. Sangeeta Gururaj, you must have heard of. Her mother was a great playback singer. She picked up basic, rudiments of music from her. She took up science. She did her engineering. She is today balancing both engineering and music. There are many people. There are numerous such examples of people who are able to match diverse fields. Engineering and music have nothing in common. They have absolutely nothing in common. So to me, they are absolutely diverse fields. If somebody can manage both of them and do justice to both of them, look at the flexibility, look at the adaptability of a human mind. And another aspect I would want to tell you here is, all of us use mobile phones. Are you using your mobile phone to the fullest possible extent? I mean, all the features that are available there? The same way, the human brain is brilliant. Human brain is, I'll tell you, it is mysterious. It's a massive thing. What we are utilizing out of it is about 5% max. If you can dig deeper, you can go to 15%. You can go to 50%. And this human adaptability is such a wonderful thing that there are many people who are chartered accountants. We have a nuclear scientist. We had Raja Ramanna, who was a great, equally great in music. So we have had such examples earlier, and we have such numerous examples all around us today. So when you have diverse fields, make a close selection, pursue both of them. I'll tell you, you're going to succeed in both of them. Balancing. And we have you've heard of Anil Kumble?
Yeah.
Anil Kumble? I've known him from the age of 14 or 15. He studied his engineering from RV Engineering College. He has distinction in all his semesters. He was playing for India, in Test cricket when he was pursuing engineering. He managed both. And I'll tell you, playing cricket and even music is a very taxing field. Playing cricket, you need to get up at 4 o'clock, toil till 6 o'clock, come back, freshen up, get ready to go to the college. And if it is an overseas tour, I suppose you know that Kumble made his debut in South Africa. So when it's a foreign tour, you're out of campus for 4 months. And right after coming back, you have to fix that gap. He did that balancing act wonderfully. And even Jawgal Srinath was a successful, had a successful academic career from JC Mysore. So there are such possibilities, and human brain is capable of doing many, many, many things. Multitasking is the order of the day.
Yes, sir.
Have I answered
Yes,
you?
sir. Beautifully. But the only thing is, like, we see that, the parents are really paranoid about this part of confusion when it comes to the child, because somewhere down the lane we feel that we come from a different stereotypical mindset ki one way in one particular field you're supposed to excel. If you sail in 2 different boats or 3 different boats, you might not be excelling in one particular area. So this is
Yeah.
something which is, I see that, it is kind of stuck in the parental minds. So what do you
Mm.
have to tell about this?
Yeah, there have been disastrous experiments also. I mean, I spoke of many successful stories of people managing two different diverse fields. There have been tragic things. Somebody was interested in cinema, started his career as a teacher, and then followed. He took to acting also. He thought he'll be able to manage both, failed in both of them miserably because lack of application of your mind. Time is no constraint. And when it comes to the ability of a human brain, I'll tell you, it is vast. It is inexhaustible. It is inexhaustible. And again, I'll come back to Raja Ramanna. During, let us say, his late 70s, he was advisor to the Prime Minister of India, scientific advisor to the Prime Minister of India. That's a huge task in itself. Apart from that, he was a chairman for several academic institutions in Bangalore. He never missed a single meeting of any of those academic councils, and he made significant contribution to each of them. He was very punctual. I mean, this is something I've heard. This is not a first-hand information. So we have examples of this. We have examples of disastrous, attempt at managing two fields. Disaster happens when you give it a miss. Like when you don't take two things very seriously. You need to be compartmentalizing things. I'm tempted to give another analogy here. Of course, these days, postal deliveries are few and far in between. Otherwise, you know how postal deliveries are sorted? Let us say there are about 10 lakh letters that are received at GPO Bangalore. Right? There are about 140 post houses in Bangalore. Each of them are known by their PIN code. Like, for example, my area PIN code is 41 5600 So, while sorting out, they'll sort out by PIN number. Nobody looks at the name. Nobody looks at the name. And when it comes to the post office, the postman, while sorting out, he looks at when he arranges by main road first, and then crossroads, and by residence number. Nobody looks at the name. Millions, such million volumes are handled because they are dispassionate. If you start starting, things with the name, you'll end up, in a mess. This compartmentalizing is something that we need to be doing. Look, today in the morning, I had a totally different experience. I can't be describing it here now. Now I am into a situation where I'm speaking to minds, and I'm speaking from my mind with my heart behind it. The two things are, to me, quite opposite. That I left behind that session, and I'm now deeply into this session. And everything else in this world is inconsequential as long as I am here online with you people. Because I want to have some impact on lives around me. This life is precious. Unless you're able to impact the lives around you positively, what are the use of living? So if you realize this, if you're able to compartmentalize things, and if you're able to devote quality time, things are possible.
Beautiful.
Sir, I would like to share something.
Please.
Sir, 45 years ago, when I was a young girl, and I was very much interested in English, wanted to do journalism. Then, I did a course in journalism, but due to some stroke of fate, I was not able to write the examination. I was also interested in nutrition. Also, I did a course that also I was not able to complete. Then I got to understand that I'm very good at psychology, and that remained inside me, and I was able to, at the age of 58, do my diploma in child psychology from Asha the Hope. And then somehow the life pulled me into education, And that has been the major, has been the career path. But what I feel that I could have done so many other things if situations were different. And that interest still lies in me.
Yeah, many a times I'll tell you, though we have the ability, we have the inclination, there are extraneous things that change the course of our life. Kaveri was flowing into Tamil Nadu, not through the, what is that place? Biligundlu. Its course is about 100 kilometers northwards. One small mound of, mud, or maybe a solid this thing, changed the course of river Kaveri over 500 years. Today, it flows southwards. So when mighty river can change its course due to a local incident, life careers also change. I'm, Dr. Abdul Kalam, you've heard of? Abdul
Yes,
Kalam wanted to be an IAF pilot, just wanted to be an IAF pilot. He gave an examination and he was not selected. He was a little dejected. He went to northwards. Somebody suggested that you spend some time in Himalayas. He met a saint there. That saint said, you can pursue your goal even now. The rest is history. Had he become a pilot, India would have lost a great missile maker.
yeah.
So these kind of incidents, these kind of interactions change the course of the life of people. There have been several such incidents where Gandhiji has changed the lives of so many people. Somebody wanted to be a businessman, has become an educationist. These kind of things happen, and these are predestined. I'll tell you, these are predestined.
Yeah, that's there, sir. Yes. That's what I felt in the field of education. It is like the child became very important. Each and every child became very important. And I felt very much fulfilled, actually.
Yeah, this is the ultimate destination for any life-loving soul. If you love life, I'll tell you, this is where you can make small changes in the lives of people around you, and you derive lots of pleasure. If somebody who's into gardening, you will realize this. You will care, give care to a plant, give some, put some manure, put some water, and when it starts flowering or when it starts bearing fruit, he may not reap the benefits of the plant, but having a look at it gives a great deal of satisfaction. And that is what a teacher can realize.
Yes.
This is the field, this is the reward that field of education has. This, to me, is the primary salary for a teacher. And what is given at the end of the month is bonus for me. And inside a classroom, when I'm narrating some issue, narrating some concept, if there are some eyes which are sparkling, it means that they've reached their minds. That is the first reward I get as a teacher. If you're, all these things, micro observation you're able to do, if you love life, one needs to love one's life and the life around you, then automatically things start succeeding. Can we go back to Nilima?
Yes, sir. Yes. Himali, would you like to ask? No.
Everybody should feel free.
Sir?
Everybody should feel free. Whatever
Yes.
trivial things they have, they can put it out. And some of these questions are enlightening to me.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? Okay, sir. I have my son here who would like to ask you something. Is that okay?
No, absolutely okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
A very good evening, sir. My name is Sanjit. I'm a 10th grade student, 15-year-old. I'm guilty of not attending the whole conference, sir. I've just passed by. But listening to the topic, a question does pop in my mind regarding the whole agenda, which is basically the presence and the contribution of a passion in one adolescent's life. Let's take the example of me playing basketball. I was a basketball enthusiast for over 3 years. And every cell of my body I dedicated to the sport. But now looking back, it does not play such a significant role in my life. It was very passionate. It was something I was very passionate about. But now that I'm in 10th, It's more of education. My priorities have changed, and basketball, let's say, it has neutralized in my life. So such passions, how do we carry them out, and what role do they play in our lives?
Look, you did say you missed the session. Earlier, in the first part of my this thing, I did make a reference to this. From 13 to 19, right? Children tend to have deep, interest in 6 different fields. At least you had interest in basketball for 3 long years. There are people who change their interest within 6 months, within 1 year. I did describe one case study where a student from his first day in first PU to the last day in second PU made 4 different changes, and he was very passionate about each of them. This is a natural phenomena, and that is what is called adolescence. We tend to see, as you are moving it towards definiteness from childhoodness. Childhoodness is all about fluidity. And once you attain adulthood, let us say when you are 22, 23, things take a very definite shape. Not much can be changed after that. So this transformational period, there are several movies that cross your mind. You are drawn towards it. You see a beautiful English movie. You feel like making yourself into an actor. You dream about being an actor for about 3 to 6 months, and finally the cinema, somebody tells you that the cinema, what you see on the screen and what happens, they are totally different. What you are made to believe is shit. Once you're told that, you start disliking it. You start liking. It's very natural that there is variation in your interest from time to time, but this is the time when you need to freeze on your choice. Gain input from your mother. Your mother is a capable person, and you have lots of people around you, and you can bank upon me. You can collect my number from your mom. You can call me. You're interested in meeting you. We'll discuss. Make a right selection. See, I can unscrew a screw using a cutting plier also. Right? But the right one is the screwdriver that can do the job very efficiently. Each of us are made out for a particular job. One is a hammer, the other is a screwdriver, the third one is a cutting plier. Each one is made out for a particular job. One can be used in the place of other. In place of a hammer, I can use a cutting plier. I can hammer a nail. Do I do a successful job? I'll end up spoiling the nail, or I'll end up spoiling the instrument. So we have an inner aptitude. We have an inner craving for a particular thing that keeps fluctuating for some time. But when you are at around 16, 17, 18, things need to be frozen. Bank on your parents, bank on people around you, bank on your teachers. Get all the information and freeze down your choice. Are you happy, my dear boy?
Yes, sir. That was actually exactly what I was hoping to hear. And come across the right place at the right time. Thank you.
I wish you had come earlier.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. He was attending his class, so he just passed by and he wanted to ask you. So I took this opportunity.
That's good for me.
Any other questions, please? So thank you for your lovely time and lovely interactions with everyone. And we wish to have many more such sessions from your end. And I hope everyone is looking forward for the same. Dr. Asha, you're here. Would you like to address the gathering?
Oh, is she online?
Yes, yes. How can I miss?
Yes,
Good that she didn't know. Nilima didn't tell me about this.
No,
I would have become totally nervous.
Oh my God. So thank you would be will not be the right word, but I can only say pranam to you. because there are a lot of questions in my mind which remained unanswered when I was in that age. And it is so clear now. So it is not about right and wrong. It's only about the tools that we use is what I understood, So ignorance is all about doing right things in wrong time. So let us wipe off ignorance. And thank you, sir. As Nilima rightly said, we would like to have you now and then so that, let our arms become strong and eyes become open, so that we also, at least 2 or 3% of what you have understood life, if we can relate to that, that's something that we feel that we have achieved little bit. So thank you. And this forum is really grateful, and your presence will always be adored. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
These kind of sessions will make me feel younger and younger. So additional thanks to each of the participants and special reference to Dr. Asha and our cute Nilima.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening. Thank you. Thank you.